Hi, so for today I'm doing day 5 of the 10 Things About Me challenge. So today's topic is going to be 10 things that I can't live without and why. And first off, I just want to say that for this challenge, what I've done specifically is avoided listing things like oxygen, water, food. There are food items on the list, but it's more specific. It's not food as a general category. Family and friends. These are things that are all very, very important to me. I feel as if physically I would not be able to live without those things. So this list is more, it's almost more like a superficial list of 10 things that, I could live without, but really I just can't live without because I really like them. All right, so let's start with number 1. So number 1 might be, I guess maybe, I don't know if it's a bit surprising, seeing as I'm a vegan, so it might be one thing that people would guess. But the first thing I put on my list is because it's the first thing I think about when I think of something I'm obsessed with that I just need every day, and that's fruit. Not food, fruit. I'm going to emphasize that, enunciate. Fruit. I cannot live without fruit. It's really crazy. I even had this experience 2 years ago when I was teaching in Taiwan. There's one day where I just did not have any fruit at all because I ate food during the day, but I didn't have fruit specifically, any kind of fruit thingy. So it was around after midnight. I was just kind of doing some stuff for my school. I was at home though, working from home, just preparing a few lessons. And then I was chatting with my roommate. He also is an English teacher. And then it was just really weird. I was just suddenly I didn't eat any fruit today. I have to go buy fruit. So I ended up leaving, I think, at around 12:31 in the morning. And I go down to the 7-Eleven. The 7-Elevens in Taiwan, they actually sell fruit salads and other salads and stuff. And I just went and bought fruit just so I can have fruit that day before I went to bed. That might not seem crazy obsessive, but I guess every day, even in the morning sometimes before I even shower, do anything, I go throw on some jeans and a shirt, go downstairs, buy some fruit because there's fruit shops downstairs in my building. I have to have fruit every day. It doesn't actually even matter what kind of fruit. Every single day it kind of changes for the kind of fruit that I like. So some days I want to eat apples, other days I'll probably eat 5 bananas, other days I'll have blueberries, which are really expensive in Korea. I think it's, $5 for 100 grams of blueberries out here. I even bought cherries a few weeks ago because I was really craving them, and it's $10 for about 300 grams of cherries, so it's really expensive. But I don't care, I have to have fruit every single day, probably about 3 or 4 servings of fruit at least to tide me over. All right. So let's go on to the second one. Number 2, I cannot live without fandom. Yeah, fandom ended up being really high on the list, and instead of breaking it down into fan fiction or specific ships, I decided just to throw it all together as just one general category. I just need some kind of fandom because, let's face it, if you're on Tumblr a lot, you're probably involved at least in some kind of fandom. Obviously not everyone, but at least a lot of people on there are. So specifically I've been writing things for Jelsa lately, so that would be the Frozen and Rise of the Guardians. Although before that it was always Glee stuff, and then way before that actually it was Supernatural. I wrote very little for Glee. I was doing some of the RPs, but not actually any writing for Glee. I actually have fan fiction. I probably shouldn't even say this. It's been sitting on my computer for about a year and a half now, so I actually have some fanfics. I was just too embarrassed to ever put them on the internet. So yeah, and it's not even just writing, it's reading things. I always have to be reading some kind of fanfic or something. It's just, for me, it's a way to come down after work and stuff. It's just, I find that they're easy reads, so I enjoy fan fiction, and I actually find them more entertaining these days than books do, than books are, because books, I find, especially when people, I was recently started reading more dystopia type books, but then I feel that they all follow the same kind of patterns. They're all very predictable. At least with fan fiction, it's characters I'm familiar with, and you can just throw them into a million different settings, and I feel as if fan fiction is more creative than most of the novels these days. So yeah, anyway, I always need some kind of fandom just to, it's just kind of nice to have that kind of escapism and to be kind of obsessed with something. All right. Yeah, kind of obsessed. Let's go on to number 3. So, number 3, I have put shoes on my list. I actually used to be a huge shoe person, so I've got one pair here. These, I was so happy this year to finally buy these are my second pair of Louboutins. So I have Christian Louboutin. I had them shipped in from the States. I bought them secondhand. I usually end up buying my designer shoes secondhand, stuff off eBay that's been worn only 1 or 2 times. I always make sure to also check the authenticity because there's so much fake stuff on eBay. Yeah, shoes are a huge thing for me. It used to be really bad where like every single one of my paychecks would just go to a pair of designer shoes. Even in my closets over there, I have probably about 10 pairs of designer shoes with me, which I guess seems like very, very little. But when I mean designer, I'm talking like these shoes, like even the pair I have right here, I think these initially retailed for about $900. I didn't pay that much for it. I got like about half price of that. But like I have a few pairs of like Dolce & Gabbana. This is my second pair of Louboutin. I also own my Alexander McQueen's. I'm like in love with them. They're like I think a $700 pair of shoes. I again didn't pay. I got it 50% off because it was a final pair. And then today I wore my Mimosa. I have this $400 pair of like Mimosa Gladiators. So they go up to my knee and they're 4-inch heels. Beautiful, beautiful. I know it's leather. I'm a vegan, but I bought this years ago. Like I've had this pair for about 6 years now. I bought them 6 years ago, so I've took really good care of them, and I kept them, and I love them. I just don't want to give them up. And I don't know. I think even though I only identify as a dietary vegan, I still think it'd be wasteful just to like throw out leather because it's like at least I'm still using it, even though I technically shouldn't be wearing leather. All right, let's go on to number 4. So number 4 is video games. I love my video games, and all that I own is I have my like, you can't really see it, but even if I point, it's hard to do that. So it's like up there where my finger is. So right in this area here, I've got my 3DS with like a stack of games. My 3DS is on top of the stack. And so I played the Nintendo 3DS. I bought mine in Korean, so my games are in Korean. I've got, except for Pokemon. The Pokemon has 6 languages, but all the other games, like the Super Mario Brothers, Zelda, it's Ocarina of Time, it's all in Korean. So I play that sometimes when I'm bored. I also have my emulator on my computer, so... Oh, I should be talking about emulators, because that's evil. I mean, I actually own... The funny thing is, I do own the games that I emulate on my computer. It's just that it's so difficult to bring the system. The Nintendo 64 emulator is the one I'm using, and I have my PlayStation over there, so I have a PlayStation 2 that I actually brought with me from Canada, with a few games, but I emulate the N64 games. These are all games that I actually own. Like, we even own like 2 or 3 of some cartridges. Like, we actually have doubles of some of them at home. We have so many Nintendo 64 games. But I do emulate a few just because it's just so heavy carrying all that stuff around here. Plus then, because they're American, or North American, region. So that means I always have to get like all the cords. Like first there's the converter, and then after the converter you need sometimes like the correct extensions just to be able to put all of it into a Korean television and all this. So it's more of a hassle, but I do actually have all my PlayStation 2 games here as well. And so I have things like Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy X-2, Final Fantasy VII, which was for a PlayStation, but I can play it on the PlayStation 2. I have my Kingdom Hearts games. So I have like a lot of some of the old Squaresoft before they became Square Enix games, and then I have also a lot of Nintendo. I love Nintendo. Pokemon's actually my favorite, so there's a new game that's supposed to come out in November, but because my 3DS is Korean region, I might buy it here if I can before I go back. All right, so let's go to number 5. Number 5, I put down internet. Obviously, like, internet's very important to me. It's the only way I can post these videos, the only way I can go on Tumblr, and other things. So, yeah, I have to be on the internet every single day. I have to be online for some period of time. It's just, I think that Canadians, we actually ranked pretty high for time spent on the internet compared to other countries. I think the only country, this was a study that I read in 2011, and I think they found that the only country that spent more time online per citizen was actually Russia. So Russia's ahead of us. They're also a bigger country than us because we're also number 2 there. But yeah, so yeah, I always have to be online. How about, let's go to number 6. So as you would probably know by now, if you've been watching videos or if you follow my blog, then you know that I have been to many countries. I've worked in many countries. I've actually studied in many countries. I took courses in Italy, I took courses in China, and I've also taken courses here in Korea. So I've been like in lots of different countries. So number 6 is my passport. I think my passport's very important to me. I couldn't live without it. Obviously I couldn't, because if I didn't have it, I would get kicked out of the country. So but even besides that, needing it for my job, I would just need my passport because I'm the type of person who has to travel at least once every few months. When I was in Canada, I would try to travel to the States every few months, like at least usually to Florida to take some kind of vacation. Or when I saved up, I would travel to Europe. Like I went to Europe and backpacked just before I graduated from my undergrad. I finished a semester early, so I spent that last semester saving money, and then I went and traveled, and then came back and went to my graduation ceremony. Yeah, so my passport's very important to me. All right, let's go to number 7. So, number 7, I put down Tumblr. I spend a lot of time on Tumblr. I'm on it every single day, I think. There have been some days where I haven't actually went on it, just because I had other things going on. But for the most part, I'm always on there. Whether it's doing anything fandom related or just blogging random stuff, it's a way for me to cool down after work, because working with teenagers can be kind of like, ugh. Even Korean teenagers, they're a lot better behaved than North American teenagers, but I need a distressor afterwards from all the chaos of work. So yeah, after work I like to go on Tumblr and just, reblog random stuff. Or yeah, so Tumblr. All right, let's go to number 8. So being that I spend a lot of time overseas, I need a good form of communication, or else I would just lose contact with everyone from North America. So I put down Skype as number 8. I cannot go a day without using Skype. If I want to call my mother, I use Skype. If I want to chat with friends who are from other countries, I use Skype. So Skype is probably my main form of communication between myself and anyone who isn't in the country that I currently reside in. Whatever country that is, whatever. So I've been using Skype for the last... When did I think I first got it when I went to Europe in 2007. That was when I studied in Europe for the summer. And so then I started a Skype account from there, because then I realized, I can actually call my mother from this online program instead of going to the... what was I? I was actually using payphones, which was really stupid in Europe. So I'm like trying to get all these coins, like all these euro coins, so I could put them in the payphone, or like sometimes you could use like your credit card number and just like type that in and then make the call, or buy like the phone cards. Like I was just doing really stupid shit in Europe in terms of trying to call back Canada, trying to call Canada. So eventually I realized, there's Skype. I could just make an account and download it because I had my laptop with me, and then, the rest is history. So Skype is very important to me. All right, now let's go to number 9. So number 9 on this list, and actually I've got lots of examples here for this. I put down vegan alternatives. So obviously this is not something I need to do. I don't have to be vegan. I could just be an omnivore like all the rest of you guys, but I've chosen to be vegan. It's for me. It's made my skin look nicer. It's helped improve my mood a lot, although I feel like I'm more sensitive these days. I was saying because usually when you eat more soy products, then your body, I think, ends up producing more estrogen. So I don't actually get angry at stuff, but I do get I cry very easily over things now. I'm just like, oh my god, it's so beautiful. It's just, so I think it makes me more sensitive in that sense. But anyway, here's some of the vegan alternatives that I can eat. I'm happy that they're here in Korea, because without them, it'd be so difficult to be vegan. So here's one thing. I've got vegetarian with beans. This is chili. So this chili has no animal product in it, and I can have vegan chili. Another thing, I like to go to this place called High Market, I think, or is it High Street? High Street, that's what it's called. It's not necessarily a vegan grocery store, but they have lots of vegan products, and they label everything vegan specifically there. So it actually takes me an hour and a half to go from where I am to that place. So I usually go maybe once every 2 weeks and just buy a bunch of groceries and come all the way back home. And here's another thing that I picked up. So this is raw blueberry cheesecake. It probably doesn't look like the most appetizing thing in the world, but I first tried raw vegan food when I was vegan in Toronto. That was years ago. And oh my god, that's the worst thing to be addicted to, because raw vegan food, especially the desserts, are so expensive. This one's not too bad. I paid $5.80 for this. It's just a slice of cheesecake. But in Toronto, I used to pay about $11 for a slice, because it's really expensive, but it's so freaking good. I've got this here. So I'm not sure if you can see the label very well. It's vegan, gluten-free banana walnut bread. So this is something I like to have in the mornings, and usually I'll have this with fruit, because, I can't live without my fruit. And it's very, very good. it's nice to have bread because most of the bread in Korea has dairy and egg in it, so I actually can't eat like most of the breads out here. I have to go to a specific grocery store to make sure that they make more North American style bread or like European style bread where it doesn't actually have any milk or dairy in it, where it's or sorry, I should say like milk or eggs. Yeah. So this one at the high street they actually do sell vegan breads, and I was like, yay, I can have bread again. Alright. Now, here's the last thing I'm going to show is this is like vegan gluten-free lasagna and it's ready to eat. So this is like, it was huge. I paid $7.50 for this and it's like a whole container full of fresh vegan, well, not as fresh anymore because it's been in my fridge. But yeah, vegan. So that would probably take me about 2 or 3 days to eat, just eating off slices of that. This one they actually put mostly, it tastes like they have mostly squash and broccoli in it. So it's like noodle, squash, broccoli, tomato sauce, and vegetables. It's pretty good. Alright, now let's go to number 10, the last one, so I can end this. So I put down a portable music player, often especially because like today for example, I had to go for Pathfinder and to do my Pathfinder role-playing. So I spend probably about, anytime I go to Seoul, it probably takes me about an hour to an hour and a half to get to wherever I want to go. So it's important that I have the music player with me, otherwise I just sit on the bus and do nothing. I've tried reading on the bus, but I get motion sickness very easy, especially if I'm focusing on words in front of me and then there's stuff going by. Like I've even just tried reading like fan fiction on the phone before, on my smartphone. And I can't even sit there and read the music. Like I can't like go through the list for that long, or else I just start to feel really dizzy and then I start to get a stomach ache, or like get, not really stomach ache, but feel weird here. So music's usually the only thing I can do whenever I'm on a bus or something. Yeah. So those are the 10 things that I can't live without. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.